Hi, welcome to Bookie. Today we'll unlock the book Storycraft, the complete guide to writing narrative nonfiction. Most people like stories. When we were young, we liked to read classics and fables which could help us better understand the world, and when we grew old, we'll tell our own stories to the younger generation, guiding them on how to live an independent life, how to raise a family, and what kind of values to pursue. This is the function and impact of stories. Compared with other forms, most people are better at understanding abstract concepts and principles through stories. No matter what type of jobs we do, the ability to tell stories always helps. However, when asked to create a story, most people don't know where to start. How should we tell a good story? This book is about the skill of storytelling, mainly for narrative nonfiction writing. You might not be familiar with the term narrative nonfiction, but don't worry, it's not hard to understand. Narrative nonfiction is the opposite of narrative fiction. Many people like to read novels, and they belong to the latter category. The characters and plots in these stories don't exist in real life, in other words, they are fictional. On the contrary, narrative nonfiction tells about the true stories that have happened in real life. This book touches on all aspects of narrative nonfiction writing, including story theory, structure, scenes, actions, characters, and more. It also explains the process of publishing from the first draft to revision to editing. The content of this book is not only useful to nonfiction writing, but all kinds of narrative forms. Anyone who wants to influence others through the charm of stories can learn something from this book. The book's author Jack Hart is the former managing editor and writing coach at the Oregonian newspaper. He's received the National Teaching Award from the American Society of Newspaper Editors and a University of Wisconsin Distinguished Service Award. After spending more than 3 decades in journalism, Hart is very experienced in narrative nonfiction and has edited many Pulitzer Prize-winning works. He has taught at 6 universities and was named the Ruhl Distinguished Professor at the University of Oregon School of Journalism and Communication. This book introduces many methods and techniques of creating a narrative, allowing readers to take a peek at the mysterious blueprint of a writer's notebook. The book is delightful, witty, and full of wisdom. A large number of examples are used to explain what's going on behind the crafting of a story. It's a great book for referencing and learning. Now, let's read this book together in the following 3 parts. Part 1, What is a story? Part 2, How to write a story. Part 3, Narrative techniques for common story forms. First, let's look at what a story is. Stories often originate from human desires. In our daily life, people run into various problems that make them suffer and struggle, and they've come up with a desire to confront and solve these problems. To fulfill this desire, people take a series of actions to overcome various obstacles on their path, eventually solving the problem and achieving success. This is a common story model, a protagonist with desires and a series of actions taken by him when facing and solving a difficult situation. Let's examine this story model through an example in the book. It's a report about a policeman rescuing a woman driver who was trapped after a car accident. First, the protagonist of the report is Patrol Officer Jason McGowan, who witnessed the whole series of events. He is the person that can drive the story forward and tell us what happened from a consistent point of view. Second, the report highlighted a problem, thus constructing a complication that justifies a story. A speeding pickup truck smashed into a passenger car and the woman driver was trapped in the wreckage. McGowan, the protagonist, now had a desire to fulfill, rescuing the trapped woman, and that's why he took a series of actions to achieve it. Eventually, with the help of firefighters, the trapped woman was saved and the problem was resolved. This short narrative uses the typical story model we mentioned above. From this example, we can learn that the basic elements of a story include characters, complications, a sequence of actions, and a resolution. The next step is to consider how to craft the structure of a story using these elements. People usually think that to build a story structure simply means to string together the existing material in order of the occurrence of events. According to Hart, however, a story written this way is usually boring